Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Tuesday Night Bully Talk. This is a huge occasion. We've got someone I'm very, very excited to speak to. What we like to do is we like to allow our guests to introduce themselves, tell us your kennel name, and other accolades like the other organizations that you're involved in, and then what got you into bullies in the first place. Take it away, girl.
Okay, so my kennel is Simply Bullies. I am the president of the United American Bully Association, which is the Breed Club. I am a BRC judge. I do actively show within UKC, BRC, and ABKC. We have not ventured out to any other registries yet, but maybe eventually. What got me into bullies? That one's always a really tough question because I got into bullies whenever I was 15 years old. And what really drives anything when you're 15? You don't really have a whole lot of thought happening as a 15-year-old. So probably just found a cool dog and wanted it, and then it kind of went from there.
I like it.
That'd do it for real, though. I mean, everyone has their own journey into it. Some folks are just like, oh my God, it's been so long that it might take me a second to
remember
it up and whatnot. But man, so you have done something that is just. Some people don't really understand the depth of it. They don't understand how important this is and what a massive step forward it is. But tell us about the Breed Club.
So I definitely think you're on the right track there when you say people do not understand the depth of the importance of a breed club. A lot of people, when they wish the breed would move forward in a quicker way, or if they wish things would happen differently, they're always, the registry should do this, the registry should do that, but that's not actually the registry's job. If the registry is offering those things, that's just them going above and beyond. That's extra. A registry is supposed to register your dogs, help keep your lineage, and then host shows.
Use your watch and find it, sweetheart.
A breed club is there to help push the breed forward, to help track health, to help provide education to breeders, education to judges, especially within the UKC, which is who the parent club is through. It's to help eventually get us into AKC if that's something we decide to do. It's to help change the perspective of the American Bully in the general community. It's to help with breed-specific rescue. A lot of people don't even think about it because we're such a new breed, but you're seeing bullies pop up nonstop in shelters, in rescues. You need to have a breed club that will help support those dogs. And that only happens if there is an established breed club. We're one of the only breeds to not have one. We're actually kind of backwards in the beginning of that because most breeds start a breed club and then go from there. We have been in existence for many years and just now are getting a breed club.
Right. Absolutely. So I think that was one of the things that this is obviously it's a big step, but it's also a lot of work. There's no way it isn't. So I was kind of hoping to find out, well, one, what made you feel like you're just like, listen, just screw it, I'm going to do this. And like, basically, what were those first steps that you had to take to make this possible, to get that ball rolling?
So this actually was started a couple times by a couple different people. Tiffany Clevenger tried to start a breed club a couple times. She got the ball rolling. She kind of started the process, and then it would fizzle out. Mary Tyson took over for a little while, tried to get it rolling. It fizzled out. And then my kennel partner, actually, whose name is GrCh, she was like, why are you not doing the breed club? And I was like, well, every time someone tries, it fizzles out. It doesn't work. And she's like, well, what are they doing? I'm like, well, one of the requirements for a breed club is you have to have 50 dogs that are produced and titled and 150 titled dogs. And so most of the time, these people were starting by trying to get this list of titled dogs. She was like, let's do it differently. Let's get a group of people together that we feel like can do this. So she created a group chat, pulled in a bunch of different people that got along, people that didn't get along, people that showed UKC, ABKC, BRC. Sure. I think the original little group on Facebook was probably 50, 60 people. And then it was, hey, we're wanting to start a breed club. If you want to be involved, stay. If you don't, go. And it kind of whittled it down to about 35. And at that point, we started going, okay, what's our first steps? Well, our first steps is elections. We need to get a board elected. We need a president. We need a vice president, secretary, etc. So we held elections with that small group of people. And then at that point, it was on the board. Those 8 people had to then gather all of the information that the UKC wanted, because to begin a breed club and get any kind of traction, you've got to go through one of the registries. And at that time, the UKC was the only one even interested in having a national breed association. So we went through them. We had to
Steadily
have.
losing her. I can't hear.
Sorry.
Can y'all hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Had to have 50
Wow.
produced titled dogs, 150 titled dogs. We had to have at least 30 members. Everybody had to pay membership fees. We had to do a code of ethics, actual legal bylaws. We had to
Wow.
do mission, values, mission statement, goals. It was basically a business plan had to be completed and then submitted with information about each membership or each member and all of that, how the membership was going to work, how you were going to apply to be a member.
Yeah.
So it took about 1.5 years for us to get everything completed, done, and sent in. And then we got our official approval in April of 2024. So we've been an official breed club for almost a year. And within that year, we've accomplished quite a bit. We got the first judge's education for UKC off the ground. The UKC accepted the American Bully in 2013 and has not hosted one single judge's education for the breed until June of 2024.
Wow.
We pushed for
Wow.
that, we got that in. We were able to kind of get a little bit of feedback and some conversation started about a couple things in the breed standard that we were able to get at least provide input on, and they updated at the beginning of 2025. We were able to get OFA SHIC number, which is a big deal, because previous to that, if you wanted a health test in American Bully, you kind of just had to guess what was necessary, which
Right.
meant we were doing a huge laundry list of tests and spending a large amount of money to do all of this. Now we've got that narrowed down to the most important tests. Not only that, but the SHIC program helps to track health in the breed.
Yeah.
Every single time an American Bully gets a SHIC number, whether they pass or fail, it gets listed into a database, and we can help track breed health from there. That's a huge deal. We got to deal with Embark so that we can get discounts for all the breed club members. And we're also going to be hosting our first specialty in June of 2026. A lot of people don't know what a specialty is, but it is essentially a breed club's version of nationals. That is where only American Bullies show. It's not all breed. It's only about American Bullies. You bring them, they show against each other. There are versatility awards. There's going to be a best in specialty show, really big prizes. It's themed, so it's a lot of fun. A lot of breed clubs will make them quite large. One of the ones that stands out to me is the Golden Retriever Breed Club. They did one last year where it was take me out to movies, and everybody gets a little goodie bag when they come in. Everybody got popcorn. It was a ton of fun. They did a dinner. Like, it really helps to bring the community together and helps to show the registry, because UKC does need to see bullies. It helps to show the registry a lot of nice dogs in one place at the same time.
Oh, for sure.
And when is this again? When is the specialty show?
It is in June of 2026. I want to say it's June 10th. Let me look for sure.
So
wow.
y'all started this April of last year or 2024.
Mm-hmm.
And then you wasted no time. Like
No,
y'all
we
started.
tried to move forward pretty quickly.
Yeah, because there's so many steps and hurdles that you had to overcome, and now
Yeah.
you're doing a specialty show. Wow.
Yeah, we wanted to get it moving quickly, especially because everybody knows bully people are only interested in things that actually are doing something, if action is actually happening. And we didn't want people to join the breed club and then sit around saying, well, nothing's happening. You're not doing anything. We're continuously doing things. We support rescues every single year since the little group chat was started. We have supported at least one rescue. We started doing it monthly now. We donated to a rescue this month for Christmas. I think it was $450. Next month, we have another one planned. We have a junior scholarship fund for juniors. We've got breeder education. We have a shop. We've been trying to push it pretty hard to get it going, because we feel like it is very necessary to move the breed forward in a positive way. And the only way that's going to happen is if other breeds can take us seriously and the general dog community can take us seriously.
Oh, definitely. For
Well,
sure.
I agree with every word of that.
Oh, absolutely. Well, and the thing that I find so neat, and we've brought this up on multiple occasions, and you and I talked about it as well, Nikki, is that, like, we've had multiple conversations with tons of different people, and whenever the question does come up, hey, what's going to be that next step to giving the breed an edge, and giving it the respect of other dog breed communities and the upper echelon of different registries and whatnot. And it's always been, we need a breed club. And when you think about it, like another fine point is that whenever a registry is deciding whether or not they're going to accept a new breed, it requires a breed club, because that's where they're going to get the breed standard to review and approve, and then have judges trained on, and that's where they pull that stuff from, is from the actual breed club. So to not have one for so long probably really kind of made that a little bit difficult, and kind of slowed the process of getting us acknowledged, especially by organizations like the AKC. So so this is just one step, I think, that's going to start making us a little bit more, I hate to use the word legitimate,
but it feels like the right word. Yeah,
it feels like the right word. Oh, I hate saying that. God, but it feels right. But yeah, so I mean, kudos to you for being willing to do that and put in all that work and getting other people involved, and basically giving us at least the first leg to stand on in that endeavor. So definitely appreciate you for that.
So I've got a question for you. What is it that, so you're seeing shows, you're seeing registries, like you told us about some of the things that y'all are doing, but did you feel like other registries were missing something that y'all could bring to the table? Is that what drove you? Like there are things that we want to do that are not being done, and it's not a shot at them, but just to ask you what you felt like, anything else that you wanted to bring that was important to y'all.
So it's not even really that we felt like the registries weren't doing the right thing. It's that this is not even something they're supposed to have to do. Some of these things that we wanted to accomplish, such as the OFA SHIC number, that's not even something a registry could have begun to do. The ABKC or the UKC, for example, could not have contacted OFA and said, hey, this is the health tests that we believe the American Bullies should have, and here's our evidence as to why. It wouldn't have been an option for them to do so. Just like one of the registries could not go through the AKC approval process if we did decide to try for AKC approval. That's just not something a registry actually even has the option to do. I think that most of the registries have done a really good job trying to push the breed forward and trying to encourage breeders to learn and putting information out there on health testing and, how to breed to the breed standard and how to do better. But this is just an area that was never their responsibility to begin with. So it's not that they were coming up short. It's just this wasn't ever their job. Right. The breed club is supposed to come in and help to steward that breed, help to move it forward, help to provide a place that is tracking health. A breed club should be tracking multiple health aspects, such as how often are bullies failing cardiac? How often are we seeing an American bully with bad hips? How often is a bully getting cancer? And a registry is already taking care of so much. They're already keeping all your lineage. They're keeping up with all your registration. They're hosting your shows. They're trying to make the shows bigger and better. And they can't continue to do more and more and more unless they're not focusing on what they're already doing.
And so that's where y'all come in.
Yes, you got to work hand in hand. Ideally, the breed club should have a good relationship with every single registry. Obviously, right now we're underneath the UKC because that's who was available to start a breed club through. We're going to have the best working relationship with them because we converse with them the most. We can communicate with them, and they're going to look to us whenever they have questions about the breed. Whereas other registries are not necessarily going to look to the breed club for any questions, but we hope that eventually we can continue to build that relationship in a positive way so that we can work together. Ideally, your breed club should be coming in and doing meet the breeds and helping you host health clinics and helping you host seminars on handling and responsible breeding and how to raise puppies and how to evaluate puppies and that kind of thing at your shows. And whenever you're seeing registries, they should be supporting it and back and forth. That way that you're
so
getting.
Y'all will have a presence at the shows, having those conversations and handing out that information.
Ideally, that's what we would like to do. At UKC, we already kind of have that beginning. Most of our members are across the United States and all the way up into Canada. So we do have a pretty large membership currently. If we're at a UKC show, for instance, we're going to be there handing out quick judging slips to the judges. We're going to be there to help with any questions or information. that anyone asks about. And any show that we host through the UKC, we offer seminars and different information packets and things for juniors and all of that. Ideally, eventually, we can continue to pave that road with, say, ABKC or BRC to be able to do the same there as well.
So what does it take? It takes somebody from those registries inviting y'all to a show, or is it more than that?
In my head, it's a little bit more than that because they don't really have to invite us. We're already there. I mean, I was at a BRC show last weekend. I was already there.
I'm just saying, so like, I guess what I'm asking is you said that y'all need to get in those places. Well, how does that happen?
They kind of have to extend that communication. They have to say, hey, we understand what you're doing. We see that it's not competition for the registry. We would love to collaborate with more education or seminars or any information that you can help provide. We would love to collaborate on that. Because right now, if we were to show up at a show, say a BRC or an ABKC show, and set up a whole booth about the Breed Club, some of them might be offended a little bit. They might be like, oh, why are you promoting something completely different than this registry? That doesn't work. They may not completely understand that it's supposed to work hand in hand, and we're there to support them just as much as they should support us.
If you can send me some stuff, hit me on Facebook and send me some stuff that you would like to present to ABKC. I got somebody that's high enough up that I can talk to, and maybe, just let them take a look at it and see if that's something that may be interested in reaching out to you and crossing that bridge.
Yeah, that would be great, especially because even if it's just helping put more health clinics at shows, Paulina recently hosted a show where she did health clinic she did hips, elbows, and cardiac, and that was very popular, and it made a huge difference in getting a lot of dogs tested. So even if it's just to say, hey, we don't know that we want to do seminars or any other information yet, but if you want to help host health clinics, we're interested in that.
Right. Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I saw that, and I just thought that was the coolest thing.
It was.
What kind of discounts do y'all get with Embark?
So it depends on what you're looking for. If you're doing a breeder kit versus if you're doing a regular kit.
Yeah, for a breeder kit, let's say.
So for a breeder's kit, for each member of the Breed Club, they get 10% off if they use the Breed Club's code. So you have to be a member of the Breed Club to get the code, and then you use the code, you get 10%.
And you may have said this already because I was in and out and I couldn't hear you. And I said, so how do you become a member of the Breed Club?
So there is an application process that you have to go through. I will send y'all the application if you want to, share that and spread it.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
You fill out the application, give all the information. It goes to a membership committee. They look over the application. They make sure that you don't have any, charges against humans or animals or anything like that. That could be a danger. They make sure that you're not banned on any of the registry lists, and then you either get approved, or if you are banned on any of the registry lists, you get a disapproval. You get an email after that saying, hey, you've been approved to become a member of the Breed Club. Then it's going to ask you at that point to read through the bylaws, read through the code of ethics, read through the mission, because there are some responsibilities to joining a Breed Club. It's not just, I joined the Breed Club and I'm there. There are some things you have to abide by. There are some rules about online presence and professionalism and how we educate others. Members are expected to not be doing online bullying or going back and forth or being hateful. They're expected to be educational and friendly and professional in everything that they do. And we do uphold that. We've had to give out a couple warnings in our time to members that were being less than kind on Facebook and Instagram. And we will eventually remove them if they don't heed those warnings, because it's very important that a breed club be a comfortable and safe space for everyone to come to and share their opinions and share their knowledge, because that's the only way the breed can move forward.
Man.
Hey, I love it. So Familia Hernandez actually just put UABA member here from Washington State. That's awesome to see the impact.
Yeah,
Sure,
it is.
definitely.
So it's not restricting in any kind of way. It's really just giving people an opportunity to take it to another level. Is that what I'm hearing?
Yeah, you're expected essentially to do something you should already be doing. You should already be professional. You should already be friendly. You should already be welcoming. You should already, be leading with education and not hate, or, you should already be inclusive. All of these things are things that all good breeders should already be doing. So no one's trying to restrict you. It's just keeping you on a path where you can go to the next level. Within our code of ethics, there are some things that are suggested. Right now, they are should rather than must. We did that because we knew that the only way to bring the bully community together is to not scream at people, oh, you have to do it this way, but say, this is what you should be doing, and here's why. And if you're not yet, that's okay. Come and ask us why you should do that. For example, one of the code of ethics is you should be health testing your dogs before they're bred. You should be. Why should you be? Because you should want to know the health behind your dogs.
Yeah.
It's not a must. We have many, many members that don't health test yet. And we hope that by being a part of the club, they get access to a lot of education and information as to why they should health test, how they can health test, what happens if their dog fails. Is this the end of the world? Like, having access to people that have had that happen or know how to do it or have been there doing it is helpful. And most of the time, when people can get that education in a positive, non-judgmental way, then they're happy to switch up how they're doing it.
Yeah.
So it's all about delivery. And
I couldn't agree more. That's go ahead, Amanda.
Yeah, it's one of those things where, I mean, you're dead on, with the getting them to come in, and then you're exposing them to people that are going to, again, foster them and try to just be like, let me show you kind of like why things, should be done this way, and why you should be more careful about this and more aware of this, and just a little bit more vigilant about this. And because they're seeing people that they have grown to respect and really admire be that way, they are more likely therein to be that way, and to also promote that with other people that they know and that they want to see do well as well. So it's like, man, instead of just coming right off the bat and just being like, here's the line, it's drawn.
You gotta be there.
Yeah, you gotta be there. But no, this was a brilliant approach to it. I think that way it's just not jumping into ice cold water. They're actually kind of being able to kind of ease their way into it, and be better for it, and then be better out in the community as well. So man.
I did want to address, if it's okay with you, I noticed in some of your comments, some people are talking about health testing. And one of the things that I'm noticing is most of the things that are being mentioned are actually genetic panels. Yes. That's not health testing. That's one test. Yeah. So a lot of people will do an embark on their dog, or they'll go through UC Davis and they'll do a panel, or they'll go to Wisdom and they'll do a panel, or they'll do animal genetics or Orivet, or any of these are genetic panels. And that's one health test that you can complete on your dog. But that's not health testing. That's one test. And it's not even actually one of the tests required for our SHIC number through OFA. The 3 required health tests for our SHIC number to be obtained are OFA hips or pin hip. You can do either. OFA elbows and OFA advanced cardiac. It does have to be advanced, meaning your dog does have to complete an echocardiogram and pass it, or technically you could fail it as well. The good thing about the OFA SHIC program is it's not about a pass or a fail. Right. You get your SHIC number even if you fail all 3 tests. The OFA SHIC program is meant to encourage people to test, because health testing is for education. We cannot better a breed if we don't know what we're working with. And that means that we health test even if the dog fails. For example,
and so for people that don't know, what's the best way to go about doing that? Is it, is that something that people do through y'all, or do they need to contact them directly and then feed that information to y'all once they get tested, or how's that work?
So to do your health testing, you have a couple options. You can go to the OFA website, which I'll send y'all the link so you can put that out there as well. They list health clinics that are hosted by different shows and different vet clinics across the United States. You can have your hips, elbows, cardiac done at any of the clinics that list them. You can contact your local vets to find a vet that offers OFA testing or pin hip. A lot of times cardiac is going to be your hardest to find. That's because it has to be done by a cardiologist. So those OFA health clinics and reaching out to the breed club to ask about OFA health clinics will help you in finding places to get that done. If at any point someone is looking for a clinic to do their health testing at and really just not able to find one, they can reach out to us on the United American Bully Association page, or to any of our members individually, and they will help you find a clinic or a group that will help you find a clinic to be able to complete those tests. Once those are done through your vet, you'll fill out your OFA forms, and then those will be submitted to OFA. Once they're submitted, each of the tests, you automatically get your OFA SHIC number. So you don't have to do anything extra. Once you complete the testing and the forms are sent out, it will be automatically listed on your dog's OFA.
Nice. All right then.
I'm all about covering all those bases. I think I think breeders checking those boxes just speaks to their ethics and speaks to how serious they are about getting to the top of their game. To me,
Yeah.
Absolutely. And I
Yeah.
mean, ultimately, we all want the same thing. We all want beautiful dogs that match the breed standard, that have beautiful breed type, that are healthy and can survive throughout their lifetime without being a burden to themselves or to their owners. And the only way we can do that is if we health test, look at what our dogs have to offer, and breed for better.
There we go. I'm here for it. And this is, I mean, this is just not even this breed club and all of its, adventures and goals and everything. Crazy enough, that is not the only thing that you do. Like, you have quite a few accolades yourself outside of this. Someone had mentioned earlier that they think you're the best judge ever. So
I appreciate it. I think
tell
I
us
can
about
list a
that.
few. I think I can list a few judges that are much better. Honestly, there are so many beautiful judges out there in all the registries. I have a lot of people I admire in UKC, in ABKC, and in BRC. I do really appreciate BRC for how inclusive they are. A lot of people question, they go, why are you a BRC judge? Why didn't you push for ABKC? Why didn't you go towards UKC? And it was a thought at one point to go towards one of those, but I think for BRC, they're so inclusive and they're so open to things. And that's not always well received. Some people are like, well, they'll do anything if people are happy about it. And maybe they will, but also the people at their shows are so happy and having so much fun.
what do
And
you mean by inclusive? Just
for example, it is not a rare occasion for me to be judging and to see someone come in that has never been to a show in their entire life and never even heard of one. They can walk in and they can do it all wrong. They might walk in the ring with their dog with a harness on. They might have a backpack on while they're in the ring with the dog with the harness on. The dog's on the wrong side. They have no clue what they're doing. They're having a real hard time getting it right. And every single person in that building will be kind and welcoming. No one will laugh. No one will jeer. No one will point fingers. They will go, hey, let me show you how to do this. Let me show you how to do this right. Let me connect you with some people that can handle your dog. Let me connect you with some people that can teach you how to handle your dog. There is never a moment when someone feels out of place at one of those shows. And that in itself brings a lot of people into the breed. If you go to a show and you feel judged because you don't know what you're doing, it turns you off. You don't want to go there. You will probably never return, or it'll take you a little bit of time to return.
Yeah.
And they're really good about being very inclusive. They're great with their juniors. They do free junior classes where all the juniors come in and get to hang out with the judges and learn from them. It's just a very open environment, and that friendliness really brings people to them.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. Definitely.
yeah, agreed. Yeah, they do a good job.
Yeah, it's definitely one of those things that, like, getting somebody to kind of start showcasing their dogs. It really is about kind of taking them in and showing them the way and making yourself accessible, and being a good mentor, even if it's only for that day, even if it's only for that moment. Like, you don't have to sit there and mentor them for the rest of their career, but like bringing them in and just sort of being their mentor that day, and giving, showing them the wings. And it's definitely something that it makes you feel good. And then, I mean, fast forward to like a later show, you see them again and they're killing it, and you're sitting there thinking like, proud mom moment, just like, oh, I'm so happy to, see that they stuck with it. And that, they're using some of the tactics I gave them, along with some new things that they picked up along the road. And it really is so heartwarming to see that, and to see people grow and evolve.
It is. And I think all three registries have things that are great about them. I think that ABKC is the home of the American Bully, and it always will be. There's no way that anyone can ever dispute that. That's where it started. That's where it got its growth. That's where a lot of the changes that have come to pass so far have began. A lot of people within the ABKC help educate people, especially behind the scenes. I know the judges within ABKC and the reps receive probably hundreds of messages every day, and they find time to answer them. And that's special. I just think BRC is a really nice beginning pad for a lot of people to come in and feel comfortable and be, accessible, to be able to get that confidence to then continue to show in other registries.
Yeah.
And I will say that that's one of the things the Breed Club wants to continue helping to foster within UKC, because a lot of the times when people go to UKC after having shown in BRC or ABKC, it is a bit of a culture shock. It is not the same. They're very surprised. They're usually pretty shocked. It's not just about the general differences in the venue and how the show is ran. It's also the things such as if you're not registered for the show by 9 a.m., you don't get to show that day.
Yeah, they shut the table down. It's done.
You don't get to enter right before you walk in the ring. If you get there at 1 o'clock, you're not showing that day.
Here's my $20. No.
They don't care. You will be there on time or you will not show. And they're
Wow.
very strict about it. And they have good reason. They want their shows to go smoothly and to be quick. They don't want to be there till midnight. But it can be a serious culture shock for a lot of people. They're not used to having to be there on time. They're not used to not being able to crowd by the rings. They're not used to the judge being like, do that again. There's a lot of things that are just different about UKC, and it can be such a culture shock that when people go, they may have a bad experience, and we want to try and minimize that. We want, if somebody's wanting to try out the UKC and they've never been, let us know. We'll make sure somebody's there to help
I like
you.
that.
We've got members across the entire United States. If we can get someone there to help you, we absolutely will. And we do want to encourage more people to bring bullies to the UKC, because right now all they get to see is the same dogs over and over again. It's the same people that have been showing in the UKC since the beginning. They don't really get to see the dogs that have the breed type. They don't get to see a lot of those dogs at all. And if they see one a year, then no, they're not going to believe us that there's nicer dogs out there. If we tell them that there are typey dogs that can move and breathe and are functional, they say, okay, but where are they? Because I don't see them. This is what I've got in my ring today, so this is all I can judge.
Yeah.
So we want to try and close the gap that is right now existing between UKC and the other bully registries. Then we've got to start showing. And there's going to be a little bit of an uncomfortable time whenever you might go to a show and your dog may not win. And then you're like, my dog was the best dog in the ring and I know it. Why didn't it win? Because change takes time. Judges have been seeing the same kind of dog in UKC for years and years and years, and your dog's going to come in and look totally different. And it's going to take some time for them to understand that your dog is closer to correct than what it might be showing against sometimes. So you want to keep showing up. You want to be consistent. You want to continue to breed dogs that can be successful, within the UKC and the ABKC and the BRC. It's really a mark of a true American bully if they can step into all three rings and do a good job. If they can't in all three, then something's lacking somewhere.
I like what you said about, how they do things a little differently in the culture shock. To me, those are things that it's the respect should be a two-way street, and people show up and want to be respected when they come to a show. But they need to also show the registry the respect and be there on time and do those other things, like you said, because I know when I'm in the ring, I've had dogs, barking and snipping and growling at my dog through the curtain up on the rail. And I've had to, and I'm like, do I ask this guy to move his dog? Yeah, I do. But it's like, why should I have to do that? To back these dogs up. You got a dog. I seen a dog in heat at ringside. They're patting the dog. They're patting the dog with a paper towel and putting it in their pocket. It's like, what are we doing? This is sabotage. What's going on here?
I think that is another culture shock probably for people that go to UKC from other shows is females in heat are allowed to show in UKC.
Wow.
Your male should be able to show well, whether a female in heat's in front of him or not. And they can't say, no, that's not possible, because look at all the UKC champions out there. Look at the dogs that show in all three. They can stand right beside a female in heat and not have a problem. If your dog,
I got a male that will not do it.
Oh, you're
gotta work on it.
He's a hot mess, that boy. Yeah.
Oh man, he's literally whined 24/7 for the last 6 days. Right, as she went from once you got to day 7, until now, right into the 2-week mark.
Mhm.
It has been 24/7, camped out by her kennel, whining nonstop. Can't let her out without having to hold him down a minute. I mean, it's just
Well, and it's kind of one of those things for our studs, for my personal studs. They might whine and fuss at home. That doesn't change, especially some of my younger boys. They're going to fuss. They're going to cry. They're going to go off the food. Those are all normal things at home. But they know that when we arrive to a show, that's a different world. We're at work now. This is a different thing. We're still going to go out and have a great time. We're having fun. But when you're in the ring, you're not sniffing other dogs, period. It doesn't matter what dog it is, what it smells like, how enticed you are. Your job is to not sniff that dog. And
I haven't had any problems with him in the ring, but but I try to keep him from getting too close, So
Oh, for sure. No, definitely. It's definitely crazy.
I think it also kind of shows that culture shock. UKC just expects people to be on a different level of training, of expectation, and sometimes that feels very negative. If you go from a registry where females in heat are an absolute no-no, and then you walk in the ring, there happens to be a female in heat in front of you, you're going to feel pretty upset. You're going to be like, this is a huge distraction for my male dog that's right here. This is unfair. Of course they're going to win because my dog is very, very distracted. But in their world, that's normal. Your dog should have already done that, had already been there, especially because if you look at it from a female owner standpoint, if your females have to step out every single time they're in heat, think about how much ring time you're losing.
Yeah.
You're not able to get out there and campaign a female for number one because you have to sit out every 6 months for 2 to 3 weeks at a time. You're not able to get them titled as quickly as males because you're having to sit out every time they start bleeding. You got to wait for them to completely unswell, wait for them to not smell good, wait for all that to go away. It takes away so much ring time for your girls. And it gives the boys an edge up because a boy can sit there and show all year straight and your girl can't. And so in UKC, you're judging breed stock in the conformation ring, and girls going into heat is part of breed stock. So
100%. We talked about this too, not too long ago, especially when we were discussing how Piggy, Grand Champion Piggy, because of how difficult it is for females to compete against males, and that was one of the arenas that we discussed being so dang difficult, is pulling them out of the market and then missing out on the additional points and majors and being able to compete against these males. I mean, which is why having this most recent nationals and having a female as your top dog is unparalleled.
Salute.
it is.
And it's that diligence.
It shows a massive amount of work from Piggy's owners, not only keeping her in condition throughout the year, but the fact that they did have to sit out at least twice in a year for at least 2 weeks each time, and to be behind each time and had to fight back to get those points and to continue to stay ahead and to make sure that they were attending twice as many shows as some of the boys probably were. And it's an amazing accomplishment for them. And I feel like more females should be highlighted. And the only way that can happen is if they're allowed to be in the ring when they're supposed to be. Because when you get down to what conformation really is about, it is evaluating brood stock. Go in the conformation ring. It's a dog you're planning to breed. Is it going to be breed quality? Let's see if we can find out from judges you respect and know about the breed if this dog fits the breed standard. And part of brood stock is females that go into season. So, and the only reason, if you think about it, when it gets down to it, to not allow females in heat is because other people can't control their male dogs.
Yeah. There we go. Absolutely.
It kind of comes down to, and it becomes, do I respect the dogs around me enough to be able to control my dog and to be able to do things the correct way, even if a girl in heat is in front of me? And those are just things that we have to continue to work to elevate our community to. We're just not quite there yet, and that's okay. It's not the end of the world. Not everybody's ever had a show with a female in heat, and that's something that you have to start pretty young, but it's something we should be working towards. It's just one example of things that other breeds are doing and regularly doing that we're not even thinking about.
Yeah, I haven't even gotten there yet. Now, gosh, man, you spoke to my heart. So we've often said that literally the whole point of a conformation show is to showcase your breeding stock, right? And so one thing that I have noticed that is so not counterintuitive, kind of almost counterproductive, is the idea of breeding stock versus show stock.
Mm-hmm.
So in other registries like AKC and UKC, the only difference in stock that they really have is you have dogs that are working
Mm-hmm.
or conformation. So it's like within certain respective breeds, like you have ones, those are working lines, those are show lines, you know. Outside of that, it's just like you're showcasing your breeding stock. These are the dogs you're actually breeding, and so they've got to be on point. And so with the American Bully, you hear the phrase, "Oh, well, that's just brood stock. That's that we just use that. That's a breeding tool. It's a, you know."
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like that might be an area where we're holding ourselves back without really realizing that we're doing it.
Mm-hmm.
We're inadvertently holding ourselves back by, you know, still breeding dogs that can't quite get there, or, you know, you're using this as a breeding tool. It should be able to win in the ring if you're breeding it, right? Like, so there's just that mentality that I feel like sometimes it can kind of we're getting in our own way. I didn't know, is that something that you kind of, what's your sentiment on that?
Personally, not speaking, for the breed club or anything like that. Personally, there is a place for brood stock,
Mhm.
and it does exist in other breeds. It does exist in, all your established breeds. I think one of the big differences between brood stock in other breeds and brood stock in our breed is it's just a label that we slap on dogs that we want to keep that are not show quality. Oh, that dog's brood stock. But why is it brood stock? Somebody should be able to explain to you why that dog is brood stock and what it's going to bring to that breeding program, rather than just saying, well, he's just too extreme for the ring, or he's just got a couple flaws that don't make him, ring worthy. People have to really determine, is this dog going to move the breed forward in some way?
Right.
Isn't able to show. Like for me, example, I did a breeding with Jaws forever and ever ago. It was actually his first ever. And out of the puppies, they were all beautiful. There was one girl, absolutely stunning female. She was born with no tail, just a little bobtail. And it's like, in that moment, do you keep her because she's the best female? She passed her APET the best. She had the best structure. Gorgeous dog. Or do you not keep her because she doesn't have a tail, so she clearly can't show? Well, in that instance, to me, that's a brood stock dog. She still contributes to the breed in a lot of great ways. She can still pass beautiful structure on. She just doesn't have a tail. I did keep that female. I did breed her. She produced mini champions. This was many, many years ago. She's spayed now. But that's an example of brood stock for me. It's not a dog that has so many flaws that it could never be looked at and seen value from.
Yeah.
Good. Okay, that was kind of, man, I like that answer. I was kind of hoping that was the general consensus on that one. I like that. The community is like, it's just like you said, it's just a second ago. It's just like, there's a lot of times when they'll look at a dog and they're assessing their own dog, and they like, okay, well, I can't even, I know not only can she not win, I know that I'm going to get looks. I know that I'm going to get, people talking about this dog, and they just don't want to do it. So they have the tendency to try to hide the dogs or whatnot. But that's the thing, is I kind of feel like we as a community need to get people to come out and bring these dogs, regardless of whether or not they're afraid of it, because you've got so many people that have so many really, really good dogs, but they're just afraid to have people put eyes and hands on them, only because they're afraid they're going to hear something they don't want to hear, even if their dog is good. It's a fear that everyone has.
I do think it's a huge fear for people, and it's unfortunate. And I think that a lot of the community has pushed people to be that way. If the dog is not as close to perfect as possible, don't bring it out. We're going to tear it apart. There's going to be bad photos posted of it online. And that's unfortunate, because there's a lot of dogs out there in people's kennels, in people's homes, that are beautiful dogs. And maybe they're not bringing them out to the show ring because they lack a little angulation.
Yeah.
But are they awful because of that? Or is that just a flaw to be aware of? Being able to really evaluate dogs and be able to tell someone positives and negatives is important. When you become a judge, I'll have to find the article for you because I do not remember who wrote it, but there is an article that is usually shared, and it tells you that for every negative thing, you need to at least try to find a positive. If you can point out 3 negative things on a dog, then you need to find 3 positives as well, because you shouldn't fault. You need to be comparing the dog to the written standard as a whole. And I think it would help people a lot if, when evaluating dogs, you don't just point out the negatives, you also point out the positives. That way that people come out and they feel comfortable to show you their dog, because they already know you're going to tell them, oh, that dog has a really high rear, but also it has a beautiful head. Maybe you can use it. And honesty is going to be key in moving dogs forward. Being able to tell someone when their dog is not show quality, or their dog does not make the cut, or their dog does lack breed type, without them getting very offended and never speaking to that person again, is very important as well.
Definitely. It is, again, about delivery.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Man. So judging, president of the Breed Club, you mentioned the fact that you made many, many champions off that one female. How many title dogs have you produced?
We actually just did this count not too long ago, me and my kennel partner, and we ended up coming up with, within Simply Bullies, there are 76 titled dogs produced. And out of that, there's 150 something titles between those 76 dogs. So a lot. But it's a great thing. Oh, sorry. She said 211, not 150.
Oh, yeah. Thanks, Krista.
My bad.
Krista with the assist. I think I've actually met Krista before at
she tries to remind me often, because I don't like to do bragging. Humbleness is incredibly important to me. And as it's been said in the comments from Mr. Ramos, it's not really about the titles. It's about what the dogs produce. Can you show multiple generations of consistency? Can you show multiple generations of typey dogs? Can you show multiple generations of health tested and passing dogs? Like, these are the goals that I'm working towards, and the titles are just icing on the cake. It is really important to me within my program that our dogs title not just within conformation, but also within performance. We've dogs that titled in dock diving and nose work and obedience and rally and agility, barn hunt, weight pull. I mean, the list goes on. We like to do all the things that bullies can do, because they are a very versatile breed. A lot of people don't ever let their dog try those things. They're like, no, my dog couldn't do that. I bet they can. And they'll have so much fun doing it. So we the versatility, health, and functionality are very important to me. And I've made sure that stays at the forefront of myself and all of my kennel partners' brains throughout all of our breedings.
Yeah, I found that I took Adonis to, I think it's called Time to Fly, but it's they do an event, I think, in Wilsonville, Alabama, every year, and it's they have fast cat lure coursing, obedience, and I can't remember if the other one is like obstacle or not. I can't remember if they have obstacle there, but I know obedience is one of them, and then they have the fast cat and the lure coursing. And so I think it's one other event. But I took Adonis, my XL. He's got a lot of old school blood, so he what he lacks in bone, he definitely makes up in muscle. That dog ran 19 miles an hour. And it was just funny to watch how much he loved it, and he just gunned it. And I've never seen him run that fast, and I didn't know he was capable of it.
No, that was a lot of fun.
It was so much fun. He had so much fun at the very, very end of the run, because they have almost like a bay, a corralling bay at the end of the run, so that the dog can kind of slow down and eventually make its way to its either owner or whoever was waiting for them at the exit. He was just like, no, I'm having too much fun. He kept running back. Oh my God, you're embarrassing. I had to bribe him. It was so bad. But I mean, they were all laughing. They thought it was funny. But I mean, he's such a big dog. And of course, the breed comes with some stigma from time to time. But these folks, they didn't even bat an eyelash. Didn't even bat an eyelash about him, waltzing around, not coming to me initially. Like they didn't get worried about it. And that's kind of a first for me too. But yeah, you've got to take your dogs out. Cause again, I didn't think he would do it. I didn't think, I knew he's athletic. I've seen him run around the backyard. So I knew he could run, but to do something like that, you've got to experiment, get your dog. Like you said, I wouldn't have thought it until I did it.
Yeah. And I think a lot of people miss out on the fun you can have with your dog. we all spend a lot of time showing, we spend a lot of time pushing our dogs to be the best, but sometimes we forget that these dogs are our companions and they're supposed to be out there doing fun things too.
Mhm.
And when you get to do those fun things with the dogs, you realize why people are addicted to dog sports, not just conformation, because they are fun. It's a lot of fun to see your dog having so much fun, especially whenever they haven't done it before. We love seeing people try out things for the first time, whether it be the lure coursing, precision coursing, and different things like that. That's pretty easy to start. There's no skill involved. It's will your dog chase the lure. And then as you get further in with like rally obedience or even formal obedience, there's a lot of fun to be had. There's a lot of things that bullies can do that people don't realize they can do. And the more we can get bullies out and showing that, the more we can help create positive associations. You don't want people thinking that bullies are just fat lumps that can't do anything at all, or that they're dangerous. And the only way to help fight that is to get them out in the community, get them out in the dog world, have them do things other than just stand in the ring and look pretty.
Yeah.
That's absolutely fair. And we've had the privilege of speaking to several people who have their bullies in a multitude of other types of events and types of competitions. Jonathan Foster with J.B. Wilson, who has the precedings of the title before his name. I've lost count. There's just so many of them. Bless him. I hope that dog's doing well. I know he was.
He was struggling with some health recently, and hopefully he pulls through it, because Watson is definitely.
He's that dog.
He is. He's a big deal in the UKC, and when you meet him, he's a really cool dog. He's just an awesome dog altogether. And he's done a lot of good with him, not just in the ring and in sports, but also in the community. He's taken the time to take him out there and get people's minds changed about American Bullies, and that's special.
Definitely. And then weight pulling, Mary Scribner, she's actually who I got my Adonis from.
Nice.
She produced him, but she has a pocket named Hell on Wheels, grand champion Hell on Wheels. She does weight pulling with her, and that little mighty meatball, man. I've never seen
she gets it.
Yeah,
it was wicked. I can't even remember. It's thousands of pounds this dog pulls, and
they have fun doing it. We have quite a few little pockets that have an absolute blast. My brother has a little bitty tiny pocket. I think she's only 42 pounds, and she loves weight pull. She thinks it's the most fun, and they have a blast with it. And it is a ton of fun to do for both the handler and the dog.
Yeah.
Is absolutely watching that dog getting amped is so funny, because like she's done confirmation. She's done very, very well at confirmation, her and her daughter. We call her Emily. But with Hell on Wheels, like it is a whole different dog when you put that harness on. It is a whole different dog, and she had people cheering for her. It was the first time they'd ever seen her, and they were just cheering her on because they just turned around and a dog this big, not even 50 pounds, thousands of pounds. It's insane. And so there's actually a weight pull at a show coming up in May. The pull up or
shut up. Yeah.
He added, and I think it's through. Is it ABA? Is it ADA or ABA?
So there's a couple pulling registries. It could be the APR, it could be the ADA, it could be the ADBA. There's quite a few options, but I'm really excited that they're starting to bring weight pull and different things to the rings. Being able to do performance and confirmation is such a cool thing, and I'm glad to see other registries starting to offer it.
Oh, for sure, definitely, because it's time, and I definitely appreciate the boys for doing that for that particular show. I'd like to see more of it, because again, having gone to several UKC shows, seeing the lure coursing there and the barn hunts, and you're just sitting there thinking like, this is so flippin' cool.
It is. It's fun.
I don't have the time today to do it, but and then you just start getting yourself kind of like into the mode of asking people, well, how do you train your dog to do this? How do you get started with something along these lines? Because while confirmation, it's just like teach your dog to stand still, find out what their pace looks like. It's relatively simple in comparison to teaching them something that's outside of the scope of their nature, I want to say. But teaching them the barn hunt is something I was kind of interested in. But I think my pocket would be better at it than my XL, because my pocket has been chasing mice outside for quite some time. We have like a small, very, very small population. Thank God. And he has been hunting them. I mean, I've never seen it's funny. So I think he'd be good at barn hunt, but it's a matter of like getting there and
getting there
and being like, hey, how do you do this? And is that something that a breed club would be able to help with?
Yeah, so generally the breed club should be able to connect you with people that know how to do those things. Ideally, we eventually have a network large enough that we can say, oh, we know someone right in your area. But even if we can't connect you with someone in your area right now, we can find you someone that can. All of us do sports. Everybody on the board participates in sports and does a lot of different fun things. And we can find someone close to your area that can help you learn how to do that. And if we can't find an individual, we may be able to turn you towards classes or different seminars or shows that you can attend. And if you can't find any of those things and you really want to learn about this stuff, go attend one. You know, if you don't take the dog, just go attend it, ask questions. Most people are super happy to teach you and show you how to do that stuff. They want more people doing dog sports.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And the dock diving, that looks like so much fun. Like
dock diving is probably
my dog to be just
I haven't ever got to watch it all in person. I bet it's amazing. Yeah.
Well, if you come to the specialty in June, it's hosted in conjunction with UKC's Premier, and every single dog sport that they offer at UKC is at Premier. So you've got dock diving, lure coursing, precision coursing.
Where's that going to be at?
That is Kalamazoo, Michigan.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
The specialty is on June 10th, but Premier goes from the 10th all the way to that Sunday, which I think is like the 14th or 15th. And all the sports are there every single day. You can see lots of different dogs doing it. You can see bullies doing dock diving. Krista has quite a few that dock dive at Premier. And people love bullies there. They absolutely love it. The first year that Krista took her boy and did dock diving, people would come and watch him specifically because they loved seeing him come off the dock. And it was so much fun.
Which male was that she brought that year?
That was Grand Champion Bane.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
He was a lot of fun.
The dog like that, dock diving.
Yeah, there were some really cool pictures of him coming off the dock too. It's fun. It's a fun event.
I can see the jowls flaring.
For sure.
Oh man,
that would be a good place. We're going to have a good little group of UABA members there as well. If you are interested in learning about sports, Premier does have a cutoff for pre-entry for sports. So if it's something you may want to do with a dog at Premier, contact one of us. We can help you get signed up for it. If you just want to come and spectate, there is no charge. You don't pay to get into UKC shows. You just pay to show your dog. So
nice.
Yeah, that's a big one. And I've noticed that just like you said, there's the culture shock. One of the biggest culture shocks that I had the first UKC show that I went to is one, you don't pay anything at the door. Two, there's no music.
Yeah, it's very quiet.
I don't know about all that. It kind of depends on what breeds are showing at the time. But I think the only time that it was stressful, everything else was just so smooth. Lynn Popwell, she actually met me at the door. She saw that I had bullies and she was just like, let me show you where you can crate up. She actually helped me put my crate space together.
Yeah, Lynn is really sweet.
I was like, dang. And so, and it's just been a thing every time I've gone there, she and I, meet up and talk while we're there, but she's the one that it's just such a kind thing. And it wasn't something that I was used to, but the no music, but that first year, it was raining outside. So they brought the lure coursing.
Oh, I remember that. We were there.
And I just remember it was Adonis's first UKC show, and he just didn't know what to make of all these hounds just losing their composure, waiting, like watching other dogs run the lure course, just losing their minds. And Adonis is just looking at me like, "What have you brought me to?" He was so frazzled. That was he did not perform very well that year. But,
that show was an adventure. We were there as well, and they did not plan very well for keeping the lure coursing away from the show ring. Every year,
with it, like right there, with it was always scarf. It was right there. I was like, "Oh, this is such a bad idea."
But they've done better each consecutive year after. They've done a lot better. We'll be there this year as well. We try to attend every year. Just because they do offer quite a bit. They have rally there, they have confirmation, and they do lure coursing, and it's right in Alabama, so it's easy to get to. It's a nice venue. The River Region Club runs it, and they're very sweet. They're very helpful. Really nice group of ladies runs that one.
Oh yeah, super, super, super fun. So it's like if you're for any of you guys that are in the Alabama area, or Georgia, Mississippi, Tennessee, if you can make your way to Otagoville, it's a little bit outside of Montgomery, so like Center Mass in Alabama.
It's on Valentine's Day this year.
Yep. Woo! It's definitely if you're gonna have a first UKC experience, I really do. I have nothing but great things to say about River Region and this Otagoville show that's every February. It is definitely it's a great show. You've got definitely if that's gonna be your first experience, it's a good one.
It is a good one.
Are there limits on like events and things like that? Like a dog can do all of the above or what?
So most of the limits in UKC is pre-entry only, meaning for that particular show, you have to enter ahead of time. You have to enter by their pre-entry date. I don't know off the top of my head what the pre-entry date is, but you have to be entered before then. They do have a limit most of the time on each event as to how many dogs can enter, but it's kind of an obscene limit. It's usually 200 to 250. They usually don't get anywhere near it, and they'll tell you if they're getting close. But other than that, your dog can compete in as many things in a day as you want. And if they compete in a performance event and place, and they compete in a confirmation event and place, they get an extra title, which is called a total dog. And you can rack up as many total dogs as you want.
What's really, really fun about the pre-registry, though, is, and River Region is great about this, on their Facebook page. They have a Facebook page. So if you haven't gone to River Region Kennel Club, do it. Go to their Facebook page because they post all the information about their shows, their events. They don't just do this one UKC show. They do other things periodically throughout the year as well, including seminars and whatnot. But they actually post the number of dogs that they have in each class and each like genre of dog. So you can actually see before you even go there if you have competition or not and how much.
You can build classes that way too. That's how we spend time building classes. If you know that you need 3 champions and you look at the pre-entry numbers and there's only 2, you go, oh, well, let me enter mine. And now there's 3. Or, oh, there's 1 entered. Maybe if I bring 2, we'll have a class. And they're really good. If a club does do pre-entry only, they're usually pretty good about posting those entry numbers so that you know how many dogs you're competing against and how many breed points there are to pick up.
Yeah. Definitely. So that's always good because normally, like, and this is the same with any other registry, is just like you have people being like, who all's going, because they want to know if they're going to have comp and if it's even worth bringing their dog. So, because the point system essentially is if there's no other dogs in the ring, you don't get any points at all. Like, so it's just
UKC's isn't quite. So with UKC, if you go in the ring, let's say you're the only bully there that day, you get first, best female by default, and you get best of breed by default. Well, you're not going to get any comp wins, which is essentially a major. You don't get those unless you beat competition, but you do get your points. So you will still get 15 points for going in the ring that day. Because in the UKC's world, you still earned those points because they don't have to give you a first. When you walk in the ring with a dog, that dog is being judged against the breed standard, not necessarily against the other dogs. So if you go in and you're the only dog in your class, you still get your points for that class. You still get your points for the best female. You just can't get your comp wins unless you actually have competition.
Right.
I like it.
Yeah. That was one thing
That's how it should be.
Yeah. I've always liked that aspect. And so because I think there was 1 or 2 times where Adonis didn't have any comp in his age group at that time, but he still got points. So that was nice. That was definitely nice. So
I've definitely experienced the other end of that where I had, ribbons with no comp, no points.
Yeah, which is unfortunate. It sucks. And one of the reasons that UKC does allow the points to still be earned is they're aware that some breeds are going to be more rare than others. You're not going to see very many of certain breeds in certain areas of the United States. And especially when a new breed is accepted, it's going to take a while before people start showing up. And they don't have dogs show up in the numbers that ABKC or BRC does. If you go to an ABKC show, you're expecting at least 100 dogs there for the day, just in bullies. But in UKC, there's going to be 100 dogs there, but they're going to be spread across 200 different breeds.
Yeah.
It's not going to be 100
bulls and 5 Great Danes and 6 Dobermans and 20 Dachshunds. And
if you get 18 to 25 bullies at a show, that's considered a beautiful turnout.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's absolutely an amazing turnout for bullies. And it's unfortunate because we all know there's way more bullies out there. They're just not showing up. You know, it's the same.
We've talked about doing it some in our
You
program.
should definitely.
Oh yeah,
we
UKC's a cool thing.
got some dogs that so people have told us that would do really well there. So
I agree.
Yeah, bring them out.
Knowing your dog, yes, knowing your dogs, you definitely UKC material, and because they're really, really big on the balance and the movement. It's just one of those things. And dogs that have like good engagement in the ring. I remember a judge telling me one time Adonis was done for the day. He was like, "Mom, I fine if we have to do this." And I remember the judge actually, he was like, I'd like to see him to be a little bit more excited. That's why I put the other dog up. And I was like, what? I didn't know that was a thing. But then I'm watching all these other dogs go around and they're just popping their shit. Like they're so happy to be there. I'm like, oh, that would do it. Yeah.
UKC definitely values dogs having a good time, being more engaged, especially for a companion breed. If they look at a dog going around the ring and it doesn't look like it's having a good time, it looks like it's terrified of the world, or it looks like it absolutely hates its life, it's going to be judged against that because they want to see that good temperament. They're expecting bullies to be happy and zestful and excited to be there.
well, this might be a little bit optimistic, but I've got a female that is very, very young, but she gave us a little sign that may indicate that she's a high-spirited little girl. So when I actually when she was being born, and I was helping out with the sack, right? And I get the puppy out, pulled her right out of the mess, and as I'm pulling her out, her tail is just.
She was ready to go.
And I looked at my wife and I was like, what is going on here? And I'm not talking about just a little flicker. I'm talking about
she was ready to go.
And I'm like, she was born with her tail wagging. I know she's got confidence, right?
Yeah.
So
Exactly.
I had to ask around about that. I asked if anybody had ever heard of that, and most people said no, I've never heard anything like that. And then somebody said that can mean that they're a little more advanced at the time of birth. You know, advanced in just where their heads are at, I guess.
Coordination,
yeah. So
that's crazy though. But
but I that was a neat thing to see. You know, like 11 puppies born, and they're like in the middle of that, here comes this little girl, and she just. I'm like, when I was breaking the sack and I seen it going in there, and I was like, "What is going on here?"
What is that?
It was,
and then once you get her out of everything, you're like, "Oh, that's her tail." Oh my god!
Here I am.
Oh my god, it's just her tail. Yeah, for sure.
I feel like she's gonna be high spirited. You know,
Yeah.
For sure. She's ready to go.
ready to go. Yeah.
I love it. Yeah. And UKC, they're just everywhere. But the thing about UKC that's so different, and Nikki, if you know a better way to explain this, definitely correct me. But essentially it's each show is hosted by a different breed club.
Well, by a different club. So in ABKC or BRC, when someone hosts a show, it's either the registry itself, such as with nationals, or it's a show host, such as the ABKC opener. You know, obviously, Rolando is hosting that one. Right. With UKC, individuals do not host shows. One person or even a tiny group of people cannot go in and host a show. You have to have a club.
Wow.
And there are regional clubs, there are national clubs, and then there are breed clubs. And the reason for that is the UKC wants to know that you're going to have the help that you need, you're going to have the volunteers that you need, and that you can do it. Each club has to host a mock show to be able to host real shows. And in that mock show, they have to do everything that they would for a regular show and then submit all the paperwork to the UKC. And only if they do a good job with the mock show do they get to host actual shows. So it's not just one person or a couple of people coming together to bring these shows about. It's different regional clubs and individual clubs. And because of that, there are a lot of shows in different areas. There's a show in almost every state. Some states have multiple shows throughout the year. A lot of these clubs host multiple shows. There's a show in Cynthiana, Kentucky that their club does that show 3 times a year. And it's the same month every year. You can count on it. It's like clockwork. There's another one in Athens, Tennessee that does 2 shows a year, no matter what. There's quite a few that in Washington are done every single year continuously. But these hosted shows also are done by clubs because they have to fundraise a lot to be able to
Yeah.
shows. They don't charge people at the door. There's no admission to UKC shows. There's no booths at UKC shows. So the money that they get to host these shows is from fundraising and their members contributing.
Wow.
So it is a little bit different. It's ran a little bit different. There's less profit in that world for sure. There's a lot more fundraising. There's a lot more communities coming together to try to make shows happen so that they can see those shows in those areas. And usually, if there's not a lot of shows in one state, there's probably a group of people trying to bring together a club to make sure that there are more shows in that state.
Yeah.
So if
I
you're
like
ever
that.
interested in shows and you don't see any, reach out to the Breed Club. We'll see if there's somebody trying to create a club that you may be able to help with, that you may be able to participate in to try and get them there. And the Breed Club itself, we hosted a mock show last November, that was really good. We had about 66 dogs show up, so that was pretty great. This year, we chose to put all of our focus onto the specialty that's happening in June, so we're not hosting any shows between now and then. But eventually, we'd like to do something yearly or maybe even bi-yearly in different parts of the United States to help get more bullies out there.
Oh, definitely, definitely. And another thing, though, that makes it so epic, really, when you're talking about, these groups, and doing the mock show first, just to kind of make sure that they're capable, is that these shows are multiple days. Like every once in a while, you have like an ABKC show or BRC show that's like, it's on a Friday and a Saturday. They'll have 2 shows on Friday and then, 4 shows on a Saturday. But these UKC shows are multiple days. And there's actually one in Perry, Georgia, that's done every year. That's like 4 days long. Oh, it's sometimes 5? Is it mostly?
It's sometimes 5 because usually they host specialties on that first day. And it's not just confirmation, but it's also nose work, rally obedience, formal obedience, and weight pull every year at Perry. And they have huge turnouts, and it is such a beautifully ran show. If you ever want to go to a show that makes you feel like you're in the AKC, that is well ran and unbelievably friendly, Perry is definitely the place to go.
For sure. Yeah.
It sounds like a triathlon for a handler.
It is. It is a lot of fun, but it is a lot of work. You have to be strategic about what you enter. And Premier is the same way. If you try to enter every sport and confirmation, you're going to be running around a lot. So
Yeah.
For sure, absolutely. But speaking on that, what Michael mentioned as a handler, so UKC has a little bit stricter of a policy when it comes to who handles dogs.
Yes. So UKC does not allow professional handlers, and that means any paid handlers. It doesn't matter if you feel like they're professional or if you feel like they do a good job. If they have received money or any kind of service for handling a dog, they are considered a paid handler, and that's not allowed. You must show your own dog in UKC. And some of the reason that they created that rule is because in AKC, handlers rule everything. Owner handlers are pretty rare there. It's not common. People are constantly having to compete against professionals. In UKC, it's owners showing their dogs. So if you don't own the dog or didn't produce the dog, you cannot show it.
Wow.
I mean, it's anything down to you can't even buy them lunch. You know what I'm saying? Like it's deep.
If your buddy comes with you to the show and you ask him to show your dog and then you buy his lunch, well, now you're both in trouble because he's now a professional handler and you cannot show your dog.
You're serious. And they actually said that too.
Serious
That's what Lynn told me. She's like, you're showing your dogs, right? And I was like, yeah, why? She's like, oh, just saying, like, hopefully, just want to make sure that you knew that walking into this, since this is your first time that you have to handle your own dogs. It's like, dang.
So I remember in the beginning of my going to shows, the very beginning, this guy over here and I had a good conversation, really changed my direction. And I was just nervous about not being able to showcase my dog as good as he was capable of. I didn't want to get in my dog's way, and I didn't have a lot of confidence handling my dog back then. And I've come a long way since then, but this early on, I was pretty self-conscious about getting in my dog's way. I was like, man, he can do it, but I don't know if I can do it. And, and all this. And I talked to Caleb about it. Man, I don't know. I think I'm going to hire a handler. And he said, you can do that. And he's like, But what if your dog goes all the way and you're having to watch somebody else out there in the ring with your dog?
Crossing that threshold.
Would you rather that, or would you rather be the one out there with him? And I was like, I'd rather be out there with him. And he's like,
Yeah.
then you go through what it takes, and
To
you
get there.
bump your head, and you keep coming back until you get it, because that moment's so much sweeter when you're in there with your own dog. And that's and you know what, I agreed with that in that moment, and I haven't ever looked back. But that was the turning point for me, that Caleb helped me navigate that spot in that season of my life. They're like, no, I don't want somebody else winning with my dog. I got this.
Yeah, you want to do it.
Yeah.
I remember that conversation. Mike was like, I'm going to call him right now. I'm going to tell him I'm showing it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Exactly.
And I did.
Yeah.
And I did. I said, look, bro, I know we talked about it and everything, and I'm good, but I'm showing my own
gonna
dog,
do
man.
Yeah.
For sure. Yeah. Adonis was actually started out with a handler that was recommended to me. And I mean, he vibed well with the handler, and they, the first show and a half, he handled him. And it was that second show. It was a show that our friend Leo had put on. It was a free show, an ABKC free show. Everything was paid. Everything was already taken care of. You basically, like, you had the option to pay donations towards a charity they had. So it was this outdoor show. And I remember the first show in the event, he just wasn't doing what he was supposed to be doing. And I remember him looking at me and being like, let me show you a couple of little techniques and stuff like that. And so he, showed me some stuff, and I was just like, why are we doing this? And he's like, because you're going to take him into the ring next time.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, what? No, for real though, bro, what are we doing? And he's like, no, really, you're taking the dog in. He's just like, honestly, I feel like he's going to do for me or for you what he is not wanting to do do for me today.
Yeah,
and
I like that.
he was just like, seriously, just try it. If you literally are too petrified by the end of it, then it's fine. And I'll be damned. Like when he did, like everything, it went incredibly smoothly. And I'm just sitting there thinking, like, that was when I got hooked, because I was sitting there like, so this is that rush. And yeah, but he's the one that told me, he's like, no, I feel like this is your thing. Like, I got him started, you're going to finish him. And I was like, I wouldn't have done it otherwise.
Yeah.
As a
Sometimes you
breeder
need that push.
Yeah, for sure. As a breeder and a show guy, like, I have that fantasy, that we all have. That's like, what about that day when your production grand champions and you're handling him? It's like, I might not survive that. Like, I might fall out, like old Fred, oh, like, I don't know if I could. I'd be so emotional. I don't even know if I could endure that, man. That would be like, I would be high on the hog that day. Well, I promise you. I can't imagine a better feeling in life than that. That's like right up there with your kids being born to me. Like, that's right there, like. So I can't wait. I hope I get to experience that one day. That to me, I just I can't put much above that in life. What a feeling that would be.
Yeah, it would.
Oh,
I think there is definitely a value to handlers out there. Having someone that can showcase your dog better than you is a beautiful blessing. But there's also something special about being able to show your own dog. And there is something special about your production being able to do well. I remember last year we were at an ABKC show in Kentucky. I had Baroque with me because Savannah was out of the country. Okay. She's out of the country. I'm showing him, and he was absolutely on fire that day. He picked up so many champion wins, and he needed one more to grand. And I messaged her, and she messaged me at almost the exact same time. And we were both like, let's pull him. And I was like, so you agree, you want me to pull him, right? And she was like, yeah, please do, because it was super important that he gets that experience.
I respect that.
We could have granted him that day, but it wasn't about that. It was about her getting to grand him. And we went to a show later in the year in North Carolina and getting to watch them get that last win together. was beautiful. So it's not just about what you can do with a production, but it's what other people can do with them too. And it has been absolutely amazing to watch them grow as a team and watch them accomplish every single goal that they've put out. And I think it's important that people get to do those things. And in a registry where handlers are allowed, I think it gives you the option to kind of hand off your dog while you're learning, and that's valuable. And then in registries where handlers are not allowed, it makes you step out of your comfort zone and get out there and do it. And I wish more people knew that there are confirmation classes everywhere. You know, look around, look at AKC clubs. I promise you, in your state, in your city, somewhere, there's someone hosting a confirmation class, and they will teach you how to show your dog, and they will teach you how to present your dog, and they teach your dog how to present very well. And that's how you get better. You know, don't just practice at shows. Go to confirmation classes. It will help. It will change everything about how you show. It's a lot of fun. You get to learn from people that have been doing it forever. You know, we attend confirmation classes sometimes, and you're talking to people that have been showing dogs 20, 30 years. Right. And you can never understand how valuable that experience is until you get to do it. So
I don't know. I haven't heard anything about having those around here.
Look at AKC shows or
look at what?
Clubs. Look at AKC clubs, because while some UKC clubs host them too, they're very common in AKC.
Right.
And they will usually welcome you. You know, we go to AKC clubs sometimes. I know, for example, Hannah Abba, she goes to an AKC club. There's quite a few that are going to welcome you, that are going to let you, you know, adventure. And Chris asked where you're located. We'll help you find one.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I know. Just to add to what I was saying a minute ago too, I think going through that whole same process with my daughter also would be too much. Like,
you fell apart. Oh,
like Lily, watching Lily Grand Champ a dog. I don't like that. Would be. I don't know if I could. Like that'd be another thing that take me right to the edge of life, right there. I think.
Best Junior, like he lost every ounce of composure, and it was beautiful because you're just like. You know, and you're just so proud. She was so nervous before she did it, but like, so I can only imagine, like, after watching her just take best, like, and it's not just, I don't mean to say it that way, but to take Best Junior, because it was a big deal. But to Grand Champ a dog, or to watch her Grand Champ a dog, oh my gosh, I don't. It's gonna turn into a blob, dude. Just be ready.
Yeah.
It's funny, but two of the people that inspired my daughter and I the most right here on the screen with me tonight, because
that's awesome.
My daughter was at season opener. And what was that, 24?
I think 23.
23, 24.
23, 24.
Yeah.
24.
Yeah. And then like she was nervous, and Amanda gave her the old pep talk, you know, and got her head together. And she really remembered that, you know, like
that's awesome.
They were over there, and man, it's just like breaking it all down to her. And she's like, and then, man, she it really changed her spirit on you know, in that moment. And and that goes back to what you were saying earlier about, you know, having that good environment where, and we've all had that. That's how we all got to know each other in the beginning, was, you know, that show environment where it's that helping hand, and that you know, we're competing with each other, but we're also cheering each other on, and you know, big hugs afterwards, and the whole thing. It's been great, man. I've honestly, I don't know, I kind of ignore the bad in life. I try to be optimistic as best I can. I try not to focus on all that too much, but it seems like that's what I see at shows, at least in the environment I'm in anyway. I see a lot of that. I see a lot of people showing that love and lending a helping hand.
And I've seen a lot of positivity in shows over the past year. I quit showing for a little while in ABKC and in BRC for a long time, even before I became a judge, just because I had some tough experiences, and a couple of people pulled me back. And this year, Savannah was like, you have to go to ABKC with me, because that's where I'm campaigning Baroque, and you have to be there. So I did. It was a beautiful experience. People are very welcoming. There's a lot of great people out there. A lot of people remembered that I had showed before, and they were like, oh, we're so glad you're back. Like, it has definitely went leaps and bounds in all three registries to have more friendly people willing to help and participate. And that's what we need. You know, really, all three registries be working together, because it doesn't matter where you campaign your dog. You're all campaigning the exact same breed, and that's what matters.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure, definitely. And what a year to have come back to watch Baroque. I'm telling you, that dog, damn.
Yeah.
Like yeah, you what a beautiful creation. I know you're proud, and watching
she's a
Savannah
beautiful
go with him,
So
especially at
balanced.
nationals. You're sitting there thinking like, well, I quit. How do you compete with that? It was just, he's a beautiful animal. And I remember one very important thing. And so I was, cause I was filming, and there were some people that were sitting, that were kind of, standing around, and so they could hear me talking, and, commentating, and I could hear them. And they kept on saying, wait a minute, is that a classic? Or and I'm sitting there thinking like, you wouldn't know, would you? I was like, he's built.
Yeah.
I'm like, if anything, that's the bridge. Like, he is proof that eventually the classic won't be necessary. Eventually, because he is that bridge. And he and anybody that's like, I never knew until I saw him. I was like, so at the end of the show, I was talking to Savannah, and we were all just giving him some scritches, and he was happy. He was happy to be there, but he was probably happy to be done and be getting scritches and treats and whatnot. But I was like, he would not believe the amount of comments that I overheard talking about how impressive he is in person, and they had no idea. They had no idea, and how much of a fan base he has now after that many eyes in person.
For sure.
Like, the pictures just don't do him justice.
Yeah, and I think it's important that a dog like that, whether it would be a dog I produced or a dog I didn't produce, I think it's important that a dog like that gets publicity, because that's a dog that has been in all 3 registries, that has granded in all 3 registries, that has proven that he can compete with the top dogs in all 3 registries, and he goes out there and he has a great time. He doesn't have to stand like a statue not having fun. He is very connected with his handler. He is absolutely in love with what he's doing. He's gone out and done sports. He's fully health tested. That's kind of what all bullies should be aiming to do, is you should be able to walk into any registry and place. You should be able to go do sports. You should be health tested, and they should be having a great time. And I'm really glad that Savannah has given him that platform, because without her, he would not be half the dog that he is.
I mean, yeah, there's definitely a massive bond there, and they work so well together. You can just tell that he will do anything that she asks him to do, and he'll do it happily. And it was just, it's insane. But man, they rocked it at nationals, man. That was so fun. That was so fun. So I know that had to have been a super, super, super proud moment as the person that produced him.
For sure. They've given me a lot of proud moments over the years. He's went out and done a lot of things, and she set specific goals at the beginning of the year. And I was like, oh, you can definitely do those. And she was like, yeah, we definitely can. And there were a couple moments that she was like, I don't know. And I was like, no, y'all got this. And they really just crushed every single goal that they had. I don't even know what they're going to do next year, because they've already done it all. So hopefully she finds something new to kind of get into. But we're hoping to continue to see more dogs like him come out, dogs that can show everywhere, that can really help bridge that gap and connect people to the breed. And going back to juniors for a second while I'm thinking about it, if y'all do come out to Premier, they do a lot for juniors there. So juniors show free over Premier. They get little pizza parties. They have something called the Juniors Closet, which is where they can go in. People donate show clothes to the junior closet, and they can go shop for however many outfits that they want.
That's so cool.
It is really special. It's super cool. For the specialty, we're doing some big junior prizes. We have a memorial fund that Savannah sponsored that will go towards juniors this year. So lots of cool things for juniors at the specialty, lots of cool things at Premier. If you have a junior, definitely bring them, because they would have a blast. My daughter went to Premier for the first time last year. And it's funny because she just got into showing. She's 12, and she just now decided, oh, I'm going to show. And I was like, oh, really? Now? And she was like, yeah, oh, sorry, my bad. You don't want to show bullies. And she's like, I will, because that's what we have. It's fine. But she's had a lot of fun this year, and it's been wonderful watching her show. And it was great seeing her have a Premier experience there, because they do so much for juniors.
Oh man, I wish like I had gotten into this much sooner, like, because I watch these juniors and I'm like, what an edge, man.
And they're getting more impressive. You know, I was
Mhm.
judging this past weekend, and in BRC they have a master juniors class, which means they've had to have a certain amount of best junior handler wins. And
Yeah.
used to, I could kind of trip them up. I could ask them a difficult question and easily figure out who was going to be my best master junior that way. I asked 3 different questions and nobody got one wrong. And I was like, okay,
Wow.
present their dogs
Impressive.
again. Everybody did such a good job. I was like, how's anybody going to show a dog today whenever y'all set the bar so high? Because they just did such a beautiful job. And watching that next generation get so good, I'm afraid to see what competition looks like in 10 years whenever they're out there showing. Because they're so much better than all of us already.
I know. Yeah, just like they're, oh gosh, like Tone and Pre's daughter, Christine. I'm like, that's who I want to be when I grow up. I'm just like,
Right? She's so impressive.
yeah,
Absolutely.
and watching her in the AKC as well. It's just crazy to me. So it's just like, yeah, watching juniors is one of those things where it's like, man, with an edge like that, I am so hopeful, so
Yeah.
hopeful for the future of the breed. Watching them and their passion and their endurance and their devotion. It's crazy. It's crazy.
I think maybe like out of all the shows, I think maybe like twice I've outribboned my daughter. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't
Like
even think it's been twice. I don't even
I,
think it's been twice.
no,
But
I know it's been once, but
Well, you were real
at least
proud of
once,
that.
right? But
I
it's
want to
like
get the real answer.
she's like, "Look, Dad," and I'm like, you're doing great, man."
Yeah.
No, but she's she
Amazing.
really enjoys it.
Mhm.
I think doing that with your kids and other people's kids too, just it's really magical to watch them building those relationships with the dogs and honing in on their craft and their skills and really just diving in it and learning about the anatomy and just all the cool stuff, man.
Mhm.
It's really cool. Like she said, the next generation, we better all look out. They're gonna be
They're gonna
Yeah.
be good.
At
there's
that
some
point,
junior handlers in
just
this
tired,
country
guys.
right
You
now
don't
that
stand
are
a chance.
tough.
It's all right. Hand your dog to one of them and just watch.
Be done. Yep. It's true.
Damn. Yeah, what you don't know, Michael, about watching your daughter in the ring, I cry too. It's fine.
Yeah,
I cry too.
yeah, man. She's
I act all big and bad, like no, I cry too. It's fine. You're good.
I know, golly, man. I had a moment. I've told the story before, but it was like, it was at a show in Louisiana. Good night, pumpkin. And and she hadn't hardly spoke to me all night. She's real quiet. And I kept asking, I'm like, "You all right?" She's like, "Yeah, I'm good." I was like, "All right." And she's winning like crazy. I mean, just about. I mean, I hate to say swept the show, but I mean, there's not
Yeah.
much she didn't win that night. She about won it all that night. And then like we didn't even come with a team or anything. It was just me and my wife and Lily, and we got just runner up on the People's Choice and everything. Like she about won that. Like how do you win that? We don't even know anybody here. And
Damn, that's fine.
I mean, she did so good, and I'm watching her, and she's been real quiet with me all night. And then after, and she had all these trophies. She won this box and won all this different stuff, and she came running over to me, jumped in my arms, and like wrapped her arms and her legs all the way around me like a koala bear, and just hugged me so tight. And I was just hugging her, and she's like, "Thank you, Dad." And I said, "For what?" And she said, "For making this happen for me." And I was like,
Mhm.
"Golly, you little turd, you got me, boy, got me good, boy." Yeah, she's eyeballing me right now. She's giving me a little stink eye right now. Yeah,
I was like, stop talking about me.
but that was one of those moments that, like, okay, now I know why I'm doing this. Now I understand.
Exactly.
Yeah,
That was it.
Mhm.
That was it.
So much bigger.
That was heavy. I'll never forget that.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
my daughter said seal of approval, so she got a thumbs up. Yeah.
Good. Yes, you did her proud. She does
Yeah.
herself proud. But it's amazing. So I'm just always glad to see juniors, and I'm always really really happy to see programs and breed clubs and registries that really really build them
Pushing
up
it
and
forward.
push it forward and make sure that they have everything that they need, all the tools, all the supports, all the protection that they need. And I just man, I love seeing it.
I won't lie. I learned some things tonight. Like I've been so focused
lot.
on my lane right now and what I've been working towards that
Mhm.
I honestly didn't know about all that. I didn't. I mean, I knew about some of the different sports, but I didn't. Some of those I'd never heard of, and
Mhm.
I'm very interested to see that with my own two eyes. So I'll be looking up and seeing what I can get to closest to here, and be taking my family to that. I think they would all love watching those events and getting a feel for that environment. That sounds really cool.
Yeah.
Sure. Just take your. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, so let us know whatever one you're going to. We'll make sure there are people to welcome you and make sure that y'all have an absolute great time because it is a ton of fun.
Yeah,
That's awesome. You should tell your dad to go with you because he's still got those hounds, doesn't he?
he's got the bird dogs.
Yeah, bring them. UKC loves their dogs.
He's got Llewellyn. So my dad's bring. He's my pops, man. He's bred Llewellyn setters for 62 years consecutively.
Yeah, he should definitely bring them.
Yeah, and so they've been breeding Llewellyn setters for so long that there's no pedigree of the breed on earth that's not tied to their camp at some place or another.
Yeah, that's amazing.
They've been doing it for 62 years. So and they got some beautiful dogs, and maybe he would be interested. That's something we could do together.
Yeah, then there's actually an entire, I don't know much about the bird dog section of UKC, but there is a separate section for hound dogs and bird dogs, and there's different sports for them as well where you can actually do hunting trials and everything
like
with
pointing
them.
And things like that.
Yep. And like I said, I don't know a whole lot about them, but there's a huge community for it, and they do a lot of different shows and a lot of different things. They even do night hunts.
I will try to find out and see if maybe some way I could get him to do that. He may be interested in that.
And for anybody who doesn't, and for anybody who doesn't know what that dog is, that's
they're so cool again. They're beautiful.
Right.
They are, and they're so sweet. See if you can find one that's chestnut, Amanda. That's my favorite color.
Ooh,
yeah.
Okay.
That was the blue Belton right there, but the chestnut is my favorite, and it's cool because there's puppies year round right down the road. They've been doing it so long, and like the other day he had a couple litters born within a day or so of each other, at least 2 or 3 days, and I called him like, what's going on with the pups and blah, blah, and like that's what I called for, right? And I call and it's like 8:00, and I can't get him to answer the phone, and I'm like, hey, what's going on? I guess he's busy with the dogs, right? So I called a couple more times, nothing. So the next day he calls me back. He's like, hey, did you need something last night? So I'm checking on the puppies. Like, oh, bud, I went to bed. And I was like, what?
Yeah, because you can with
you
them.
went to bed. What are you talking about?
They're
you went
fine.
to bed. Where do they do that at? He's like,
right.
I've been doing this since I was 5 years old with my dad. So it's like, it's nothing to me, and I was like, golly.
It's different for sure. It's total, and a lot of breeds are definitely like that. So it's definitely something that we should kind of like eventually like start striving for, is making sure that we have that's what the health testing is for.
My wife's picking on me. She said with this litter I slept on the floor in the room for the last 2 weeks. So
I think a lot of us become very dedicated to our litters because we want to make sure everything's okay, and there is a lot of money tied up in American Bullies.
I made a pallet, and I have slept in the floor for the last 16 days.
I've done it.
I was like, I got a CPAP machine on and one hand on the mama, right? Sleeping with, like, you know what I'm saying?
My friend and I call it your baby mama.
Yeah, my wife says, he's at his baby mama house. Where's Michael at? I haven't seen him. He's at his baby mama's house.
Yeah.
And I think around with it, man. I try to be right there. I don't want to miss nothing. So.
Oh, for sure, definitely. I keep trying to.
I literally slept. I think it was last night? I slept in the bed for the first time in almost 3 weeks. So.
Dang.
I bet you slept like a baby.
I slept like a baby.
And I think it's important too that eventually education is spread for how to make sure that dogs are good mothers. Because in the bully world, we all are so attached to our babies and they are so precious that a lot of times our mother dogs are kind of sidelined often. People keeping puppies away from moms, not allowing them.
I will admit, so this was my second litter. And I learned from my first litter to my second, I was able to back up a little more on this one. I stayed right there just in case, but I let her do a lot more. Like And it was cool to watch because I was able to get a better understanding of the stages that she takes them through. For
Yeah,
example, just
course.
one off the top of my head, from the very beginning, she lays all the way on her side and kind of and scooches out to let them all be exposed in one direction, right?
Yeah.
And she lays down just about 24/7. And she's, get up, eat, drink, go to the bathroom, and run right back in there and lay down. And there's always somebody sucking on her, right?
Yep.
But then as they've developed a little bit, now she normally feeds them in a sitting position.
Yep. And then
And
eventually she'll move to standing.
And then she's only letting a few eat at a time,
Yep.
and then she'll be like,
Yeah.
all right, that's enough. And she'll go do her own thing.
Yep.
And they're like, wait. She's like, no, that's enough.
Yeah.
And I think that that's one of the beauties of really getting to let a mama dog do what she naturally does is there are stages and attributes to raising puppies that we just cannot mimic and cannot do.
That's
And
right.
if we can learn to watch from mama where these puppies are and what they need, you can work with her to create great dogs. There's a program out there that I highly recommend to every breeder called Puppy Culture. And it is a socialization program that starts at birth and continues on. And it will teach you the importance of all of those steps because what you do at 3 weeks will affect your puppies for life. What you do at 4 weeks will affect your puppies for life. What you do at 6 weeks, all the way up to 12 weeks, every action that you do will affect what your dogs are like as adults.
So Nikki, you've done this to yourself. It's entirely your fault. But I will be sending you a friend request if I haven't already, and I expect you to send me all these
Everything.
things. Yeah, I need all that.
trust me,
I
I
need to
will.
know all of that
Yep.
so that I can
It
check
is.
out these events and look
Yes.
into the
Absolutely.
breed club and I want to know more about what you were just talking about, because that's
Yeah, puppy culture is
How-
awesome.
it is cool. That sounds
Really,
very cool.
it really is a life changer when it comes to raising your dogs because we all want to know how to create better adult dogs temperament wise in the show ring. How do you teach dogs things? How do you do these things? But we're all starting too late. You need to be starting when your puppies are born, not at 8 weeks or 10 weeks or 16 weeks. And it keeps it really simple. It's a video you can watch. They sell a binder that will tell you what to do each week. It's dummy proof, honestly, and it's so easy and is absolutely amazing. And if you watch the differences between litters you raised before it and litters you raised after, it's going to be humongous. I mean, the communication between you and the dogs, the biddability and trainability of these dogs afterwards, how easily they become resilient, how they respond to stress, how they handle things. It's just a huge game changer.
It really is, and I know that Mary Scribner, she used puppy culture, and it was wild to see the difference between the litters because she's through the litters that she's had. I've been able to keep a kind of a close eye on those litters with her because she there's video of me every single day, and so watching the two different litters, the difference between that one that she had and then the one that she used, puppy culture, it's crazy. Absolutely crazy. I've put that link to the puppy culture website in the comments as well for anybody that wants to look at it.
I still need you to send it to me because I gotta be able to find it later. My wife says it's terrible. Have you ever seen the movie 50 First Dates?
Yes.
Oh, no.
I'm not quite there, but I'm close.
Yes.
So it's like I have to go and take notes before bed so that when I get up, I know what I'm doing. Oh man, my short-term memory is shot. It's gone. I mean, it's terrible.
He said it's story.
Yeah, and I'm always happy to help. If you have questions, you're more than welcome to message me. If you do decide to join the Breed Club, once a week we do something called Trash Talk Tuesdays, and it's called that because we specifically don't want people to trash talk anybody. But we talk about different topics. Like the first one was puppy evaluations, how you should evaluate puppies at 8 weeks, how you should do your APET testing, what APET testing is, why you would even use that, what's the best way to structurally evaluate, and we get all of the members talking. The goal is for everybody to give their input so that you can learn from people that have been doing it longer and from people that haven't been doing it as long. The next topic I think was how to enrich your dog's lives, how to do things when you're a multi-dog household, because as we all know, there gets to be a point where you have a lot of dogs and you don't necessarily have the time you did in the beginning, how to help make your dog's lives better, how to make your life easier. But every week it's a different topic that we talk about with everybody. There's a Facebook group that members only are allowed in, and we try to bring as much education as possible to that, to the newsletters. There are plenty of emails that you get with educational topics, and it's the access to be able to talk to people that have been doing this stuff that is just invaluable.
I love it.
Absolutely. Man, it sings to me. I love it. It's all this has just been so.
It's exciting stuff.
Yeah. No,
Yes.
I know I was nerding out just at the prospect, having
really
you on
was.
here just to begin with. And I was sitting there like, I know exactly what what I want to ask, and I'm sure there's absolutely stuff I have forgotten to ask you. Just because
Caleb and I both are not shocked about you nerding out, by the way. I think you said
Not
that
at
like,
all. Not
like
at
we
all.
were expecting that. I don't know why, you know.
well, I mean, I look at it this way. I mean,
When I looked her up and went through the whole thing, and I
You're
was
like,
like,
yeah.
"Oh man, it's
She's
nerding
gonna
out
nerd
right
out.
now, real bad." I know.
well, I
Because
mean,
even I started nerding out a little bit, and I was like, "All right, I'll let Amanda nerd out real good on this one." Because she,
right. Well, and it's because again, it's just the points that we've touched on, and they're all things that we have discussed, in past episodes, and just in passing, and with each other, and the need for healthier dogs, longevity, just trying to get this breed more out there. And I mean, you are doing it, and it's
Yeah, exactly.
We're trying anyway. We're trying to do it. And
there
I'm
is no
proud that
try.
the
There is
American
only
Bully
doing.
has
You are
reached
doing
the
it.
point where it's ready for this.
yeah, absolutely.
You know,
And I really think it has. My daughter gets super excited if she's out somewhere, whether it be Walmart or something. She'll see something. Is that an American Bully on that cup? It is. It is an American Bully on the cup. And she gets so excited. And I understand her excitement because 5 years ago, you would not see anything with a bully
Yeah.
on it. You might see
Yeah.
a pit mix, maybe.
my daughter's
Yeah.
the same way. She's like, "Dad," she said, "we were able to look up our kennel name on Google, and it pulled up pictures of our dogs,
Mhm.
and friends of mine at school knew it was American Bullies." And I was like, "Really?"
Yeah.
She's like, "Yeah." You know, like,
Yeah, we're starting to
So-
get there where people know what they are. When you're going
Same
down the
thing
street.
about Embark. You
Mhm.
know, like when I first got into this, it's only been 5 years, but you couldn't hardly bring that up and anybody know anything about it. Now you go to a show, like not everybody's educated on it, but at least everybody knows what it is.
Yep. Everybody's
And,
heard of it. You've had a
and that's
conversation
a
about it.
long way from where it was 5 years ago.
Yep. And if we keep positively putting health testing out there, it'll be that way in another 5 years where people will be like, yeah, I know what pin hip is. Here's my dog's pin hip scores. Yeah, I absolutely have a SHIC number on all of my dogs. I understand the importance. And education is going to be the key to moving our breed forward in every way.
Oh, definitely, because
Oh,
it's the best way to
100%.
be supportive is to
I'm definitely a
educate.
fan of education.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
Well,
I'm a part of another platform on Monday nights with Raul Fagundes with QBN Kennel, and that's really what we're centered around is education.
Yep.
I was telling them last night on there, we do every first Monday of the month, we all get together on there and call it the round table, and it's really fun to have because I kind of get to play in both worlds, but we're all together on that occasion.
Yeah.
So
It's awesome.
I really enjoy it, but yeah, we were talking about it last night, and it's like, I get to like we educate here, but I get to just center around like deep dive education stuff there.
Yeah,
And then
absolutely.
like here I get to personalize with like guests and hosts and people that have breed clubs and all this, like, and I really appreciate both. I really enjoy both.
Yeah, and I think both are necessary. Being able, like you said, to deep dive into certain topics is necessary to get the information out there, but also being able to collaborate with multiple people and pull different aspects to the conversation is really valuable too.
Well,
So
what I like what you're telling me about the breed club, what just not knowing a whole lot about what you had going on before I looked into it for this live, I would say that I'm really excited. It sounds like a place where people that have those intentions and are concerned with the betterment of our breed can network together and try to move this thing forward. It sounds like a group activity. Sounds like they have a lot of things that like, hey, we can do this together. We can learn about these things together. We can like, hey, you have questions about this, about that. We can like, it's a community within a club that brings things uphill. And that's, I think that's very important, and in my mind, quintessential to the development that we still need.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
agree.
Well, kudos to you for that. That's a big deal. And everybody that's involved with you, your team and stuff, that y'all are doing something that sounds to me to be very special. And so,
Yeah.
Hope so. I hope it
Yeah.
it many years in the future, whenever I'm not the president anymore, I hope that we've laid a good enough foundation that it can continue to be a positive beacon for the breed and continue to push it forward, even when none of us are necessarily involved in it anymore. Our goal is to create it to be such a good foundation that it can continue forward even when we step back.
No, absolutely. I do. There is somebody that asked a question. If
Yeah, I
you,
would say I seen. What do you prefer, pin hip or OFA? So
Yeah.
personally, like me as a person, I prefer pin hip, and the reason for that is pin hip is an actual measurement. It measures the laxity of the hip joint, meaning how far will that come out. And for me, it was easier to improve pin hip scores because you can actually look at a number and go, okay, this dog's pin hip is 0.52, and now I'm going to take him to a dog with tighter hips and go further. However, pin hip and OFA do look at different things. So pin hip is looking at the laxity of the joint, whereas OFA is looking at the construction of the joint. How does it fit together? How does the hip socket go
the
together?
assembly.
Exactly.
So
if
do you recommend that people do both?
I would say if you can, absolutely do both. It is 100% the best thing you can do. It's going to tell you the most about your dog's hips.
But pin
If-
hip doesn't do as a variety of stuff as much as OFA, right? Or do
No,
they?
OFA offers a lot of different things. Pin hip is
Yeah.
just for hips. You know, when you
Yeah.
do your pin hip, you get a number score. Right now, our breed average is 0.52. You want as low as possible. So, like poodles, for example, their breed average is like 0.2. So we want to kind of get lower and lower as we go. But if you can do both, it's ideal because it's going to tell you how tight the hips are and if they've got good hip conformation or not.
now I
Nice.
wonder though, like if we think about it, just because of how heavily muscled our dogs' rear assemblies have the tendency to be, or they should be, should they be that tight?
Ideally, because of the muscles, they tend to be very tight. So, for example, the heavier dogs with more muscle in the rear tend to get tighter hip scores than your less muscled dogs because that ligament in itself is a muscle. How tight the ligament is going to help to be tighter. Also, pin hip scores and OFA in general can be affected by how a puppy is raised. If a puppy has good traction from birth, you're not necessarily going to change the genetics that are going to pull together that hip joint, but you're going to make that ligament a little tighter. And that's something that is going to benefit your dog later on. There are certain things you should be doing in your helping box to help give you the best chance for good hips. And then if you can do pin hip and OFA so that you can say, okay, this is my starting point for how tight my hips are. This is my starting point for where my hip conformation is at. I know what I need to work on. For me personally, within my program, it was a little easier to move towards better hips based on our pin hip scores because I could follow that a little bit easier. OFA is a little more objective. So you might have a dog with excellent hips and a dog with good hips, and the puppies might have fair hips. Like it's just subjective. It sometimes works the way you expect. Sometimes it doesn't. Whereas pin hip, you're going to be able to follow it a little easier. I usually do both on mine unless I'm in a hurry and don't have time to wait for a pin hip appointment. I'm going to do both if I can.
Gotcha. Now,
Isn't OFA more effective when the dog's matured?
Sort of. So pin hip can technically be done a lot younger than OFA. Pin hip can be considered final after 16 weeks. Personally, I don't recommend going in at 16 weeks and doing your dog's pin hip, but it is considered final after 16 weeks.
I heard OFA is closer to 2 years.
yes.
OFA to be considered final is 2 years old. You can do OFAs before 2 years old. They're just considered preliminary results or prelims. So, for example, we do prelims on all of our studs because obviously a stud you're going to be putting a lot of money into. You're going to be campaigning him in multiple registries. You're going to be pushing him pretty hard. Before we start investing all of that money into a stud, we do prelims to make sure that his hips are going to be something we're going to work with at all. If he just has absolutely atrocious hips, then we're probably not going to put the time in to show him and campaign him and do all those things because we're probably not going to end up breeding him. So prelims have a good place. They let you know sooner if a dog is a good prospect or not, but finals cannot be done until 2.
simpler.
Yeah, I'll tell you that takes my mind right now. It's like that's why rear mechanics and a good upper arm and forechest is just something that's so important to me in my program. Because it just comes like when the dog's got that, probably going to be okay with hips and elbows.
Not
It's
always.
not always though,
Not
but
always.
if the dog's built right, you know, to me, you have a better chance of having the good joints. But it depends on environment. It depends on what, like you said, the surface that they're raised on and things like that. I know we've been really looking in. We're building this facility right now, and we're looking into different surfaces for the floor.
Yeah.
And we found that like some of the epoxies that we're looking at, like you can get 20 different epoxies at like Home Depot, but none of them are quite as good as what you can get to have under a dog's feet. In comparison to some of like the companies that you hit directly. They have like a textured rubberized epoxy that it's you could pour water on it, and then if you jump and try to slide, you will bust your butt from not sliding. Like you'll go to stick your feet will stick,
You're
and you'll
trying to see if you'll
Yeah.
slip, and you end up like biffing it harder anyways in a different way. Yeah.
yeah.
They're with my
So
knees.
it's they have some pretty cool non-slip stuff, and I think that definitely. Um, so a lot of people are saying that some of that dysplasia and things like that is more environmental than genetic. Not that it can't be genetic, but most
It's-
cases that it presents itself is usually linked to environmental more than pedigree. You know,
I would say it's about 50-50. So
that's
for
what I'm hearing.
example,
But
if you take a dog that has lovely hips, let's say they've got a low pin hip score, they've got beautiful hip conformation, lovely dog. You breed it to another lovely hips dog. You've got all the odds stacked in your favor, but then that particular puppy is born on a very slick surface and can't get its feet under it until it's 4 weeks old.
Right.
Maybe it becomes a swimmer puppy. That puppy's hips are going to look much worse than a puppy from the same parents that was raised better. So it does have an environmental factor, but in the same sense, it does not matter how nice your whelping boxes are or how good your environment is if the genetics are not there to have good hips. It goes hand in hand. You have to have both to be able to move forward, and it's really important that we try to do that. A lot of people will look at their dogs and they say, well, my dog is running in the backyard. He's good. He doesn't have hip dysplasia because he can run without limping, but it doesn't work like that.
No.
Our dogs are very muscled, and because they're so muscled, good movement does not always equal good hips. A dog can be beautifully structured, move like it floats, and be just beautiful and have atrocious hips underneath there. So it's really important that we are x-raying, that we are looking, and that we're breeding for better. There's been a lot of dogs out there that I expected to fail just from looking at them, and they passed with flying colors. Then there's been some dogs that I'm like, this is going to be the nicest hips I've ever made, and we do the testing and they've got OFA moderate hips. And I'm like, okay, well, back to the drawing board. That was not what I expected. So health is all about education and knowledge. You want to know what's underneath your dogs so that you can breed for better. I think a little further up, someone had asked if I would ever breed an OFA mild or, let me go back up and see, mild to severe. So I have and will breed mild. If we do breed a mild dog, it needs to be to better. Which means if I'm going to breed a mild dog, it's going to be to a passing dog. That way we can better the hips. I would not breed a severe dog, no matter what. It doesn't matter how nice the dog is or what we're taking it to, because that means the hips are pretty bad. Moderate would be a case-by-case basis for me. It would really have to be a nice dog everywhere else. They would have normal elbows, normal cardiac. They'd have to be able to tidal, be nicely structured. The temperament would have to be there. It would have to be a very phenomenal dog and have to be bred to a very phenomenal dog for me to consider a moderate breeding. Mild, I'm a lot more willing to work with because the reality is we don't have that many health tested dogs out there. This year and last year, we've had more stud options than we've ever had in the entirety of American Bullies that are health tested, which is so great because before that, you pretty much had to breed in the dark. You might be able to health test your studs and your females, but there was nobody else doing it to be able to breed to. Right. So we expect that there are probably going to be a lot of mild hips out there, and that's okay. As long as we're breeding towards better, then we're doing what we're supposed to do. It's not about throwing the baby out with the bathwater. It's about knowing what's underneath the dog and what you need to improve and what to do next.
Dang, I like that. Dang. Man, you've given us an education. This is insane. There were so many like misconceptions or misunderstandings that I had that you definitely cleared up, and I appreciate that because that's how we learn. I mean, our motto here is I mean, it's a reach one, teach one is what we always say. So,
Great live.
whew.
We're always there for health testing questions. If you ever have a question about health testing, or if you do health test your dog and you have questions about the results or the x-rays, feel free to reach out to me or anybody within the Breed Club. You can message the Breed Club directly. You can message anyone within the board. We're always there to answer questions, to help with what to do next, explain those results, explain how to send it in. Anything you need, we can be your go-to for health testing in any way.
Thank you.
Well, I'm glad to hear that. I could see definitely asking a lot of questions.
And we will always be there to answer them. We get a lot of questions already, and I'm completely comfortable with getting more. So,
Love it.
Well, look, I've had a great time.
Yeah, thank you for joining us tonight.
Really.
Yeah, thank you for inviting me. I really appreciate it.
I was so happy you said yes. I was like equally shocked and just so yeah. I'm very happy to have had you.
Yep. Lives always make me very nervous, but I'm always happy to do them because there's lots of information out there that I think is a misconception or people don't know anything about. And if we can find ways to bring that to people in a positive, friendly way, that's what's important.
Right.
I'm here for it. Absolutely.
I think that's so true. Getting it out where people can talk about it and kind of, ask different things and just toss it all around. It helps people kind of go, oh, it ain't what I thought it was.
Yep, absolutely.
Or I understand what it is now, and then it's like, and then for those of us kind of knew what it was, but didn't know enough about all the different options there. Like it took me to another level of what all's available to me there. I didn't realize that I had all that at my fingertips. So
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, pretty cool stuff.
Yeah,
well, congratulations again, and I hope it just grows and doesn't stop. It seems like it's got all the foundation it needs to grow into something beautiful. So best of luck to you there, and if there's anything I can ever do, don't hesitate to ask. And if
absolutely.
I hope that I will be. I have a question or two somewhere along the way.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and any way that our crew can be of assistance, get awareness 100%. Or anything along those lines, advertising, for like different shows and programs, and especially since you have scholarships, like anything that you guys want us to kind of highlight and put out there to our audience. Don't keep that to yourself.
Definitely reach out. The more information that we can spread, the better, and the more we can get the Breed Club out there, the better. We definitely are going to have a lot of fundraisers coming up and different things that we need lots of people to get eyes on to try and help support more of the juniors that are trying to come out. We have quite a few juniors that are coming from, Washington State and California and all these different places. And we would really love to cover all of their travel expenses to be able to do so. So we're wanting to fundraise to get that done. We want to fundraise to have a really special specialty. We want everybody to get cool things and cool prizes. We want to give away big ticket items. Like our Best in Specialty show is going to be winning a Rufflin set. So they're going to get a Rufflin kennel. They'll get the little Ryobi fans. Then we've got a custom trophy.
Nice.
And we've got ribbons, lots of cool things. Not just trophies and ribbons, but really awesome prizes you can actually use.
Awesome. Yeah. Man, that's going to be great.
It's a heck of a feeling to win something like that.
It is. It's special. It's, winning trophies is awesome. And that's why we definitely had to include a trophy. But winning something like a Rufflin kennel, which a lot of people absolutely would love to have and dream about having, is special. It makes it a little bit more special. And then you can say, oh, yeah, you like my dog's kennel? We won that. We got.
Exactly.
I got to experience that. I won my first best of show. I won my first best of show with pressure, and it just so happened I won on a raffle ticket as well. I didn't win it with the best of show, but I won it at the same event, and I won this raffle and won this big old it's like Damascus, where the metal looks rainbow colored, where they've heated
Yeah.
it and stuff.
Mhm.
This big old kennel, and so
Nice.
like got to come out of there with all the ribbons and this big
Yeah,
thing, wheeling
and the
this thing out to the.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
that was fun.
It's
It's
just
nice.
more fun. You know,
It
it is.
is.
It's a lot of fun. And I definitely encourage y'all to come and join the Breed Club. We definitely want more people part of the conversation, more people that are interested in being part of the conversation, that are willing to have those, you know, talks and encourage people.
I'm
And
definitely interested. Send me some stuff, and I'll immediately look at it. So
perfect. Well, that sounds great.
yeah,
Yes, thank you
pleasure
again.
to meet you, Nikki.
Oh, anytime. Pleasure to meet y'all too. Thank you again.
Oh,
Yeah.
Y'all have a good
absolutely. Thank
night.
you so much
Yeah.
for hanging out with us and talking
Yeah. Good night,
dogs.
y'all.
Good night, y'all.
Peace.
Good night.